What's going on, my good people? Mike Hidalgo here. Thank you for joining us on another FCP Euro DIY. Today, we're going to be working on a 2016 Volkswagen Mark 7 Golf R. Today, on the Golf R behind me, we're going to be covering how to do an engine oil service. This is going to be applicable to your Mark 7 and your Mark 7.5 vehicles. We're using a Liqui Moly kit, which is available on fcpuro.com, which includes 6 liters of 5W40, a Hanks oil filter with a new sealing O-ring. Today we're going to be draining this the traditional method using the drain plug, but before we get started on that, let's take a look at some of the tools we're going to need for this DIY. And now for tools. For this job I have a small torque wrench, it's a 3/8 drive as well as a 3/8 drive ratchet. I have a 32mm socket, a small pick tool, and you can use a small flathead screwdriver, but we have the specialty tool for the plastic drain plug. And as always, it goes without being said, a funnel and a catch pan for your oil will also be necessary. Now we know what tools we're working with, let's go ahead and get started on this DIY. All right, we are under the hood of the Golf R. We're going to start by removing our beauty cover and breaking free a couple vacuum seals here. To remove the beauty cover, you simply grab on either end and lift up. There's just a couple rubber grommets that attach to a couple nubs on the engine side of things that hold this on, so very simple to remove. With that off now, we're going to go ahead and break the vacuum seal on our oil filler cap, which is located on the right side towards the firewall. It also helps to have the car be a little bit warm. Hope maybe you took it for a quick 15-minute drive just to thin out the oil a little bit so it can flow out a little bit easier. Oil cap off, we'll set it to the side. And then while we're here, we're also going to break the vacuum seal on our oil filter. But before I do that, I'm just going to set my 32mm socket on top. I'm going to take a couple shop towels and just line the area around the oil filter housing. In case any oil comes out when I crack it free, I want to avoid having any of that drip down the block. Let's take some shop towels, pack them in around the area. Any little bit's going to help. Again, 32mm socket. It's a 1/2 inch that I have here, but I'm using an adapter to convert it to 3/8. Okay, that's good. That can stay like that. We'll take the socket off in case for some reason this decides to fall. It doesn't dent the hood. At this point, if you're doing the extracting method, you would take your dipstick cap here and put your tube down the hole, but we're going to drain it the traditional way, so we're going to get under the R and break free that drain plug, so let's do that next. Under the Golf R, we're going to go ahead and work on removing our plastic drain plug. Now there is a special tool, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that you can use for these funky little plastic drain plugs. However, a wide flathead screwdriver will work as well, and it simply does a quarter thing action to remove it. So we'll insert our tool, we have our drain pan set up underneath, and we'll get ready to catch the oil. We're going to let this drain for a few minutes. For you, it'll be a couple seconds. For me, it'll be an eternity. 5 days until this oil drains out. And then we'll see in a little bit. All right, my good people, at this point, we've let the oil drain enough. We're going to go ahead and install our new drain plug. Again, that comes with our kit. I'm just going to set it onto our tool here. Just like so. We'll feed it in. And then the drain plug itself has a little notch, which you'll see on your old one when you remove it. It keys into the oil pan itself. So once it stops, it's tight. If you have some handy, clean off the excess with a little bit of brake clean or some degreaser, a little rag. And now that we have that all situated, we can head back up top and work on swapping out our oil filter and then filling this baby up with some fresh oil. Back up top of things, we're going to go ahead and start by removing our old oil filter. If you remember earlier, we broke the seal on this already. So we should be able to just unthread this a little bit more and get it off. Our shop towels here to catch any drippage. Here's what our housing looks like. We have our old filter. We can go ahead and pull that through. With the cap off, we're going to work on removing the old sealing ring, O-ring that comes with our new filter. So we'll go ahead and use a small pick, flathead screwdriver, whatever you have to pull it off. You want to make sure when you install your new one, there is a dedicated channel for the O-ring. You don't want to leave it on the threaded portion. You don't want to go past the channel, otherwise you will cause a leak. So just make sure you situate that properly when you get it back on. And we can go ahead and take our new Hanks filter, feed it in, and we can go ahead and reinstall this cap. We'll grab our 32mm socket and just snug it down very gently, and then we'll torque it down to 25 Newton meters. Hand tight probably also works well for these. They don't need to be that tight at all. But we have the torque wrench handy, so we'll just throw it on there, make sure. Again, 25 Newton meters. If you ever forget, it is also on the cap, very convenient. There we go. As you can see, it was pretty much there just by snugging it down. Now that we have that situated, we can go ahead and actually fill our engine with some oil. So we'll grab our liquid moly and we'll get started. Now we can grab our funnel and we'll just start pouring the oil in. I'm going to leave a hair in this 1 liter bottle, just so that we can top it off if needed once we run the car for a few minutes. Luckily, these have a dipstick, which is very convenient to check that oil level. Also, just a friendly reminder, these liquid moly bottles have a tag on them that you can peel off and put on the back of your windshield. So you can write down the mileage of when you want to do your oil change next, or when you did it last, however you do that. But yeah, just a friendly reminder, these are great. We can go ahead and check our oil level. Clean the dipstick off first, if you haven't done so already. Right now our level is perfect. It's right at the top of the hash marks. We'll run the car for a few minutes, let the oil filter soak up its oil, and then if we need to, we'll add the rest of the amount in the 1 liter container. But from there, we can go ahead and put our cap on. With that situated, we can go ahead and put our beauty cover back on as well. And with that all done, now we can hop inside the vehicle and work on resetting our oil service light. So let's go ahead and do that now. Inside the R, we're gonna go ahead and focus on our 0.0 button here, or 00 button in the middle of the cluster. We're gonna hold that down, and then we're gonna press the stop button or turn the key, whichever option you have. Obviously without the brake. It'll prompt a reset oil. Press it once more. And now our service was reset. And with that, my good people, that is an oil job done on this Golf R today. Overall, a pretty straightforward job, easy to do, easy to reset, no special tools needed. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments on what we did today, or there's something specific you want to see be done on this vehicle, leave it in the comment box below. And if you like this DIY and you want to see more like them, please consider subscribing to make new ones all the time. As always, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.